Got it.
Start it up. Hey guys, MAGIX Golfer. Today I'm going to be comparing the R11 versus the Titleist 913 D3 drivers. I just wanted to kind of give you guys the differences in performance between the two and which one I chose to keep in my bag. First is the Tour BB6S from Graphite Design. This has been my go-to shaft in 2012. It's the lowest launching shaft out of the ones we're going to see today. It got me down between 8 and 10 degrees, which is very low compared to any fitter would try to tell you. But this shaft for me produced the lowest spin and was the most controllable out of all the shafts that I tried. So I really like the shaft. Pretty stable, and we'll show you a shot. Alright, so the next shaft is the Attas Elements 6XRK. It's one of the softest tipped shafts that we'll be demoing today. It's a mid to high launch shaft, around 12 degrees, give you 3,000 spin on average. Pretty good shaft as far as producing ball speeds. My problem with the shaft is when I tried to get quick, I noticed that it would give me a lot more pole hooks. It didn't feel as stable as some of the other shafts that I demoed, but still was a good performer. I did use it quite a bit in 2012, especially in windy days like today. So go ahead and hit one for you guys. So first shaft for the Titleist 913 D3 is the Oban Kiyoshi Black 65 05 Flex, which is the extra stiff flex. This is the highest launching, highest spinning shaft of them all, although it did have good stability as far as holding the ball on a straight path, whatever path that I put it on, more so than some of the other shafts. So, but it's the highest launching shaft, which surprised me because it's the lowest on Titleist swing chart, and I guess it's just because I have the X-Flex version or my swing speed, something like that. I don't think I put any different swings with this shaft. It was 3,300 spin with 16.5 to 15 launch, so those are still pretty good numbers as far as the launch height. It's probably more ideal for me than a lot of other golf clubs, but the spin rate is what I'm mainly concerned concerned in, because once you get the spin up, then when you get windy conditions, or just there's a lot of other variables. You mishit something and you have the highest spinning shaft, it's going to go the most offline. So I'm really trying to minimize the amount of spin, both in my equipment and in my swing. And the way you do it is through the golf shaft. If you're using the same club head. So I'll try to hit one with this. Alright, the next golf shaft is the Motore Speeder 6.2 Tour Spec X-Flex shaft. This shaft has been used a lot on tour. Read a lot of reviews on this golf shaft and how it performed. It's one of the straighter golf shafts according to many people's reviews. What I like about it is it's really got my ideal launch characteristics, more so than any other shaft. It launches about 12 degrees, 12 or 13. Spin for the Taylor Made, I was able to get it down under 2,500. So to have a 12 launch and 2,500 spin, that's definitely the best for me. You know, my worst swings, it's at 3,000, which is what my best swings were with some other drivers. And then with the Titleist, it was up in the 2,700 range, which was the lowest for that club. And just some of the ball speed numbers I was getting with this driver shaft, you know, I was able to break 170 miles per hour with it pretty consistently. So this was the shaft that I decided to use to compare both club heads. Might as well have the best shaft to compare the clubs to see which one performs best for my game. And there's no better way to do it than get the same shaft and the same flex, and to really get an idea of what the differences are in the club heads as far as their performance. Alright, here's the top view of each club head. What I notice is the 445 cc's of the Titleist does show a larger club head profile than the Taylor Made R11. Although the Titleist has more of a rounded back where it looks even a touch triangular with the R11. Both alignment markers are depending on the company you like, but a lot of people have noticed with the R11 that the alignment marker tends to aim the ball slightly inside of the sweet spot, where with Titleist it's right down the center. So that was one small difference that people may notice when hitting both these clubs, is that the alignment marker on the Taylor Made club is slightly to the inside, and you got to aim the ball just outside of that marker to hit in the middle. Here's a comparison of the two club faces. You notice that the R11 actually has a slightly deeper club face, where the Titleist is a little bit more shallow. They're pretty similar as far as the width of the face. And you know, I like the design of the Titleist. I don't really look at the club face too much, but I like the fact that they don't have any grooves on the sweet spot area versus the Taylor Made, which does have some small grooves there. So I'm not sure if that actually makes any difference to the ball spin or anything like that, but it's just interesting to point out. So let's talk performance. Taylor Made R11 performance. You know, there's a reason why I bought this driver initially, and that's because it had so much adjustability. I love that you have the weights you can interchange. They're very cheap to get those weights. When I started this YouTube channel, my tendency was a fade bias. Now I have a tendency to pull the ball and the draw bias, and so I've definitely been able to switch out the weights and change that so that I don't see it as much on the course, and I can really have confidence off the tee box that I know where the ball is going to go. The combination as far as spin goes, the club head spins on average 300 revolutions per minute less than the Titleist 913 D3. You know, with most shafts, it's around a 300 spin or 3,000 spin, and with this shaft, the Motore Speeder, it was 2,500 on my best swings. A lot of them were more around the 2,700 range. The smash factor for this club and with the Titleist were very similar. Depending on where you go, I would get it 1.49, 1.48. A lot of the launch monitors with those different kinds of golf balls would be 1.39, 1.37-ish. And so that's just the golf ball, it's not the club head, but you can compare the numbers directly using the same launch monitor because it'll produce the same numbers for the same strike. So with this club, as far as keeping it in my bag, it's going to be a real toss-up because I've trusted this club. I'm excited about the new shaft option. I think I can get some good performance in 2013 with it. One thing that has limited my performance in 2012 was the club's ability to launch the ball. And I found myself later in the year teeing the ball up much higher than a lot of other players, hit it off the high side of the club face in order to get the launch characteristics to launch as high as I wanted to. I also changed up the Graphite design Tour 8D shaft to a 9.5 degree loft on the club. That's the halfway setting between higher and standard to make it so that the club launches correctly from my swing. I noticed that when I changed the loft characteristics using this R11 tip, it closes and opens the club face, and you tend to miss the ball the direction that the club face is moved to. So you have to take that into account and make swing adjustments. And there's a lot of adjusting that you have to do to your swing to get the flight that you're looking for, as well as I mean, you'll get the launch height up, but you'll miss the ball more to the right. So it's a trade-off rather than just the good part. So anyway, I'm gonna take a couple swings with this club. You'll see some of the launch monitor characteristics, and we'll go from there. Alright, so last is the Titleist 913 D3. It's a 9.5 degree driver versus the Taylor Made 9 degree. And with that, it does launch quite a bit higher with the club at 3 or 4 degrees. I mean, some of that is the actual difference in the loft, the 9 versus the 9.5, but I truly believe that there is more weight on the backside of this club to help produce a higher launch, and also some of the spin rate differences that we're seeing in the numbers. What I really like is on a softer course like this one in Florida, you play a club that's going to carry much further because you can't depend on a longer run out. And so out here on the course, I'm seeing much greater distances with the Titleist driver because I don't have the room to run the ball out, and it's not the dry environment. Winter golf in Colorado, when you get those days in the 50s and 60s, it's going to be a much harder ground and it's going to roll forever. So that's going to be a good time to use the R11. But I see the summers and the more competitive, and when you're getting into your championship rounds, it's more beneficial to have the Titleist in the bag because you don't depend on the run out to give you your best distances. I also bought the weight kit for the Titleist. They give you a different weight with each shaft option that you purchase to put you at a D3 swing weight. And so I do have 2 separate weights right now, but it'll be interesting to experiment around with that weight kit and see how that changes the launch characteristics. I truly believe that as far as launch goes, it really depends on how much weight you have in the back of the club head. Now in a 200 gram club head, I mean both of these are around the 205 gram area. 2 grams is not going to make that big of a difference as far as the overall club weight, but it does make a large difference in the placement of that weight. And so it'll, I can actually quantify those difference changes when I have that weight kit. But as far as today, I'm looking in soft environments to put the Titleist in my bag. I feel that I actually work the ball better with the Titleist as far as drawing and fading with more control, which is interesting. I don't know if that is just a mind thing or a new club. You get a new club in your hand, so you focus on different things. Everybody makes their putts with the new putter versus the old putter, but I feel like I'm hitting a lot more fairways down here in Florida with this club, and I'm driving the ball further, so there's no reason not to put it in my bag, especially in this environment. I'll go ahead and hit one, and that'll be about it, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, tell me what you think. Hopefully you guys like the video. Don't forget, if you're in the Florida area, I play here at Cove K Golf Course in Clearwater, Florida, and it's a great golf course. It definitely presents a lot of water challenges and a lot of bunkers. It's a shorter course, but it's definitely a course that you have to manage. You're not going to hit driver off the tee box that often. There are a couple par 5s where, like this one on hole 17, if you hit a good drive, you can go forward too, but it's very risky with all the elements around the green. So comment, rate, subscribe, and see you guys next time.